What if I told you that one of the most radical feminist films of the 90s was hiding in plain sight as a supernatural romance? Hey, it's Darcy from Ladies First, and today we're talking about practical magic and how it quietly revolutionized Hollywood's portrayal of domestic abuse by trusting women and trusting its audience. Practical magic follows the Owens sisters, Sally and Gillian, descendants of a witch whose love curse dooms any man who falls for an Owens woman to die. Sally, played by Sandra Bullock, loses her husband Michael to the family curse, leaving her to raise two daughters while swearing off magic forever. Meanwhile, her free-spirited sister Gillian, played by Nicole Kidman, has been living it up in Florida with a string of bad boyfriends. But when Gillian calls Sally in desperation, everything changes. Her latest boyfriend Jimmy has become violent, and she needs her sister's help. What follows is a story that dares to do something Hollywood rarely attempted in 1998. It shows us an abusive relationship without explanation, justification, or extensive backstory, and then it lets the women win. Here's what makes practical magic revolutionary. It trusts its audience completely. When we meet Jimmy, we don't get a drawn-out montage of escalating abuse. We don't see Gillian slowly losing herself or making bad choices that led her to this moment. Instead, we get one brief scene where Jimmy's mask slips, revealing the monster underneath, and the film expects us to understand immediately that this man is dangerous. This was groundbreaking for its time. Just 7 years earlier, Thelma and Louise had audiences divided when Louise shot her friend's attempted rapist, and those women paid for their violence with their lives. Films like Sleeping with the Enemy and later Enough felt compelled to show extensive, graphic abuse before audiences would accept a woman fighting back. Hollywood operated under the assumption that viewers needed to see a woman brutalized on screen before they'd support her defending herself. But practical magic says, what if we didn't need all that? What if we trusted women to recognize danger and trusted audiences to believe them? When the sisters accidentally kill Jimmy while trying to escape his violence, the film makes another radical choice. It doesn't punish them. There's no guilt spiral, no lengthy trial, no moral reckoning about taking a life. Instead, when Jimmy comes back from the dead, even more violent than before, they kill him again, this time intentionally. And here's the kicker. The film treats this as heroic, not tragic. Sally and Gillian aren't damaged goods who need to be fixed. They're not morally compromised women who must pay for their actions. They're survivors who did what they had to do, and the story celebrates them for it. This was practically unheard of in 1998. Female characters who used violence typically fell into two categories: the vengeful woman who goes too far and must be stopped, or the reluctant victim who kills in self-defense and then suffers endless guilt. Practical magic creates a third option: women who kill an abuser and then get on with their lives. But the film's most powerful statement isn't about violence, it's about healing. The real magic in practical magic isn't the spells or potions, it's the bond between Sally and Gillian, the way they show up for each other without question or judgment. When Gillian calls for help, Sally doesn't lecture her about her choices or demand explanations, she simply comes. When they need to banish Jimmy's spirit, it's not romantic love that saves the day, it's the love between sisters. The film suggests that women's relationships with each other are the most powerful force of all, capable of breaking generational curses and defeating literal demons. This focus on female solidarity was revolutionary for a genre that typically positioned women as competitors for male attention. Instead, practical magic shows us women as each other's salvation, their bonds unbreakable even by death itself. The film's treatment of generational trauma is equally sophisticated. The Owens curse isn't just supernatural. It's a metaphor for how patterns of loss and abandonment echo through families. Sally's attempt to protect her daughters by rejecting magic mirrors how many mothers try to shield their children from their own painful history. But the film's message is clear. Healing doesn't come from denial or avoidance. It comes from embracing who you are, claiming your power, and surrounding yourself with people who love and support you unconditionally. When Sally finally accepts her magic and her community, she breaks the cycle not through sacrifice, but through self-acceptance. This was a radical message for the late 90s, when women were often told that healing from trauma required endless self-examination and guilt. Practical magic suggests instead that sometimes the best revenge is living well. and living authentically. Practical Magic may have its plot holes and tonal inconsistencies, but its heart is in exactly the right place. At a time when Hollywood was still figuring out how to tell stories about abuse without victim blaming or demanding that women pay for their own survival, this film quietly offered a different path. It trusted women to know danger when they saw it. It trusted audiences to support those women without needing extensive justification, and it suggested that the real magic isn't in spells or curses. It's in the bonds between women who refuse to let each other face the darkness alone. In a world that often demands women explain and justify their experiences, Practical Magic simply says, we believe you, we support you, and your story doesn't end with trauma. It begins with survival. So what do you think? Have you ever noticed how Practical Magic handles abuse differently than other films? Let me know in the comments. And if you love discovering something new about your favorite feminist movies, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Ladies First.